Hi, it's Kim with your 2022 reading, Cards and Astrology. And you can pair that up with your sign. Your sun sign is your ascendant or your moon sign. I'm going to go around the wheel, show you real quick. I have the cards out. So, to get started, I know this is a little bit late. I know I haven't been on here for a while. Everybody I know has COVID. So I've been pretty much here. I was sick too, for a couple of weeks, tested negative for COVID, but the jury's out. I still can't get rid of this sinus headache. It's been pretty intense. Um, but just about everybody I know has COVID, and I've been making soup, making teas, dropping them off at doors, trying to remotely take care of the people that I love. It's it's insane here in the Philadelphia region anyway. Um, so anyway, I really wanted to do this, and this is the first opportunity. So 2022, it equals a 6. That is heart opening. It is about love. It is about coming together. It's represented by the Lover's card, the number 6 card. And I'm going to have to put my glasses on because, I do have notes here. This is a different kind of year than we've had over the past couple of years. I've got to tell you, as bad as the pandemic has been, I think it's worse right now than I've personally seen, because I guess it's hitting closer to home. I mean, just about everybody I know has either has COVID or is just getting over it. It's really insane. Um, so prayers going out to everybody. But this number 6 card, the Lovers, it is about decisions, it is about choices, it's relationships, it's partnerships. Who are we opening our hearts to? Who are we closing our hearts to? It's a big fork in the road because, this card is also represented by the sign of Gemini. So it's those, the two sides of everything. It is also ruled by Mercury, which is the mind and our thought processes. So it makes me think about our perception. And so, are we thinking that we are in dire straits, or are we seeing the possibility of light and hope? The blessings that are coming from this angel onto humanity. And just looking at the symbolism in this card, the mountains behind and the clouds, that maybe we're not fully clear on everything. And I love how the female in this card, she's looking up at the angel, and it's almost as if she's having the blessings coming down on her, empowering her, giving her that power. So hold that thought. Then, when we look at further into that, breaking down of that 2022, so there are 22 major arcana cards in a tarot deck. The 20th card is that of the Judgment card. So once again, you'll see that the female symbolized here, she appears bigger than the child or the man. And this is just in a traditional, like these cards are hundreds of years old, not this particular deck. But that was the symbolism back then. And she's coming to a revelation. She is getting a wake up call. This is also symbolized by the sleeping dead waking up in their crypts, the sleeping dead emerging from the rivers and the waters. There is water here. So, this is an emotional little bit of an emotional time, but there is an epiphany. There is a wake up call that is being heard by more people now than before. We're hearing the message. I also feel like with that cross symbol on the flag, it's as if it makes me think of the red cross. It's our health, definitely. And um, what else did I write down here? The symbol, it's a symbolic ending. It's a wake up call, sleeping dead, waking up, and the female is highlighted here. So both of those cards symbolically make me think of that feminine, softer energy is being highlighted and being made more important. Um, we spent the last year or more with the Saturn Uranus square, the old versus the new, the breaking down of systems and the emergence of something new. So I feel that's tied in. Now, I'm also representing the Fool, which is known as the first card or the last card of that major arcana. So this can be considered the 22nd card. Um, and the Fool, he's the beggar, he is the vagrant, he is fresh and new, and he's possibly jumping off of this cliff. He's maybe taking a leap of faith. What did I write? He's the protagonist, the beginning of an adventure, the beginning of something new. It's also choices, it's decisions, the fork in the road. It's starting over, starting something new. So that symbolically is, to me, the numerology of this year. Running through just some top themes for this year. This really is going to be a different year. And it all depends on your perception, your thoughts. We came into this year with Jupiter moving into Pisces, and Neptune is in Pisces. Jupiter is the truth, and Neptune is often deception or things that we can't clearly see. They will be coming together in a conjunction in mid-April. And so looking at it from a physical point of view, like our physical bodies, this could be a heightened period of time of mental illness or psychosis for a lot of us, anxiety and panic, the unknown. Or it could be a time of absolute clarity for us. But I feel as though it really boils down to our perception and how we're looking at everything that's going on in the world. Like me personally, I don't turn on my TV really anymore unless there's a specific program that I want to watch. Um, for the fact that there's just so much chaos information, panic information, fear information on the TV, also on social media. If you notice, I've been really staying off of that as well because it was just giving me, I was just getting so angered and filled with anxiety, and I felt like there was so much pressure for me to produce. I just cut all of that out of my life. It's probably just temporary. Um, but I've pretty much been happier than I have been in a really long time. And I'm trying to figure out my own balance of, how to integrate all of that media into my life in a healthy way. And I don't know if, that could be affecting all of us, really. Um, so we need to be really clear, grounded, centered, and me eliminating those external things is helping do that. And I feel that people that are, a lot of us constantly watching the news or, scrolling through the social medias, it could be filling us with, anxieties and fears and anger. And so the best thing for all of us to do is take things back to a simpler place and get grounded and centered. Um, the themes of the year, I do feel that there could be more joy for all of us. And once again, it really relies on our perception of what's going on and what we're feeding ourselves with. Saturn and Uranus, that square, it's there, but it's not going to play the prominent role that it did last year in 2021. It will come back to an exact square in October at 18 degrees of Aquarius, 18 degrees of Taurus. So you're going to want to look and see where those are in your chart. Saturn and Aquarius, the old, versus Uranus and Taurus, the new, what is emerging, what is coming out. The United States will be entering its Pluto return February 20th of 2022. All those twos, two, 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 two. That's going to play a big role. But we're also going to be having an exact square in July and December. This will carry into 2024 because depending on how you're looking at it from an astrological point of view, a lot of us feel that it's kicking off this year. Some feel it's kicking off in 2024. Either way, it's massive change. And yes, you may not live in the United States, but this massive disruption, the chaos from it, will have ripple effects throughout the entire world. So the Pluto return, Pluto's coming back to its exact spot that it did in July of 1776. You can look up that chart. It's the Sibley chart for the United States. But what's really interesting and a lot of people aren't focusing on is the Neptune factor in that chart. And so we are still really going to be under a heavy fog and a lack of clarity with what's going on in the outside world, how everything is playing out. And that's why I think it would be great for us to just really kind of stay within our own world and let happen what's happening. There are also aspects definitely of chaos and protest, disruption. We're taking that back to 1776 when United States was formed officially. And that Neptune could be revealing the secrets that were underlying. It seems as though the United States was projected as one concept, but behind the scenes, in secret, something else was going on. And all of that is unraveling over the next couple of years. Thus, there will be a crumbling down of as things reveal. Another big highlight is Mars will be moving into Gemini in August. So things are going to get a little heated up. But what's really important is that he will be spending 7 months in Gemini. So think about Gemini. It's the dualistic, it's mutable, it's bendable. We'll be hearing different things, there'll be different sides. Mars is the god of war. And so there could be a lot of uprisings. He will be going retrograde. So that's the big key player of why he'll be there for so long. And, it could be really heated, tense times from August for the following 7 months. Jupiter moving into Pisces, which we're in right now, will be conjuncting Neptune. Remember, I said Jupiter is truth, Neptune is deception. But you know what's so weird? So Jupiter usually spends 12 months in a sign. He dipped into Pisces last summer, and we all felt a sense of relief. We took our masks off, we were out playing, we were doing things, we were, you know, life back to pre-pandemic, but it was so brief. Now I feel as though we we had a false sense of what could happen. So you can kind of see how that played out. But Jupiter is only spending a few months in Pisces, and he'll be moving into Aries in May at the same time that we're starting our eclipse season. And there'll be fresh new beginnings. There could be a lot of aggression, and things are fired up, things are going to be heating up. He will move back into Pisces briefly at the end of this year, so it's like he's dipping in and out of energies, and then he'll move back into Aries, and we'll have that for 2023. So it'll be interesting how that plays out. um and I feel as though psychically, like there's going to be aggression, there's going to be protests, there's going to be people saying, we don't want this anymore. We'll have to see, and we'll see what the cards also say. Reminder that the North Node and South Node have shifted from Gemini Sag into Taurus Scorpio. Some of those themes. So the Gemini North Node, that was ruled by Mercury, and now it will be ruled by Venus. So we're going from our heads to our hearts, which is nice. Um, it's going to represent food, land, currency, banking, our values, our wealth, what we have, what we don't have. We're taking things back to simpler times. The Scorpio South Node, so South Node is what we're moving away from. Scorpio is ruled by Mars traditionally, Pluto, endings, transformations. That Scorpio, it's excretions. The South Node is the tail of the dragon. Toxins, toxic, poisons, because think of the Scorpio's tail, excreting, getting rid of. It's also debts and taxes. It is, you know, shared resources, it's pollution, secrets, it's sexual. So we may be hearing a lot of stuff coming back out about those things. And it's also possible betrayals. Um, I think that's all I have, really. Those are the major themes. So let's get into these cards, and we'll see what they have to say. Um, and I haven't looked at them yet, so I'll be curious to find out. And they're so this is what we're going to do. I have one card for each month. You can also align that with your sun sign, rising sign, moon sign. So the first card for January that we're in, this would also to me be Capricorn. Um, it's the Tower. The Tower card is represented here. And I automatically pick up sudden changes, disruption, chaos, revelations, um, little destruction, things, people falling from grace. This is also governments falling, things in turmoil, shoddy foundation. So we're entering this year in a little bit of a chaos. And I think that goes really well with what I'm experiencing here in my area as far as the economy, because I feel like the tower represents governments, and the people that are in control, in charge, and just with what's happening with the pandemic, and just knowing that, like, so many offices for my company have closed down because there's nobody to work. everybody is at home sick. And luckily, thank goodness, I'm okay. I think I just had a sinus infection. Like I said, I tested negative, but I'm kind of, I don't know. I don't know if that's true, and we can't get any more tests. So, because they're not available anywhere. So yes, that I think that, we're starting the year a little chaotic. Let's see what happens in February. All right, so the Temperance card is coming up in February. This automatically makes me think of, well, you're going to think of Aquarius for February. I'm looking at the amount of water here, so there could be emotions, but I automatically think of balance, balancing things out, combinations. Temperance is about being very careful about how much you're drinking or drugs that you're doing, the medicines that you're taking. Um, what else can I garner from this? It's saying things in moderation. Temperance also rules the economy. It's about being frugal, counting our pennies, watching what we spend. I feel like that will be very much a very big theme, especially knowing that here in the United States, things are out of control financially, as far as the cost of food, the cost of goods, not being able to get things. And my typical 60 to $75 a week grocery bill is now almost $200. Like that's how insane it is. Um, so we will be really taking a look at where we're spending our money and being frugal about that. But I also want to caution about addictions, mixing drugs and alcohol. Also too, we a lot of us could be reaching the brink of a mental breakdown with this emotions, the psychosis that I spoke about with the aspects, people kidding themselves about what's going on, so to speak. All right, so March, which would be Pisces time, we have the Magician that is showing. And the Magician is a new beginning. It's also the combination, making something new and bringing things together. Um, what else? The symbolism of the Magician. He's pointing one hand upward to the sky, the other one is pointing to the earth. And this is typically interpreted as above, so below. So really, with this Pisces energy, in the month of March, it makes me really think about like where your head is what you are going to bring to yourself here on earth, so to speak. Um, we do see the symbols of earth and air and fire and water, like everything is coming together here. And it's really up to us to make it work here on earth, getting ourselves grounded, getting ourselves centered, and not living up in the clouds because uh, I'm watching a stink bug. I don't know where it came from because it is winter here. Sorry about that. Not living up in the clouds in a delusion, so to speak, with that Pisces energy. It's about adaptability and it is about making the right choices, the right combinations. That's what I'm feeling with that. Okay, so April, now we're coming into Aries season. This is interesting. It is the Strength card, which is a fire card. It's typically represented by Leo. And so knowing what that we will be coming into our first eclipse and that Jupiter will be conjuncting Neptune and then getting ready to move into Aries. That will be us trying to garner our strength, get our strength together. It is also about pride. Um, this is saying to me, we are stronger than we even realize. And there's a gentleness here. Um, this woman bending over and petting the lion. It is a kindness, it is a consideration, and it is using that feminine yin energy to pull together all of the strength that we need to have. I think we're going to be embarking on a new beginning after this. Trying to, what else am I feeling here? I feel like she's on more solid ground come April as well. I think that we will be on more solid ground, and I do really like this. This is about our fortitude. This is personal power, energy, action, our courage, our magnanimity that we have. It's definite success and honors also. But if you're not in that right mind frame, that mind space, this could be abuse of power, and it could be cowardice and weakness and playing the victim, and often sometimes discord and disgrace. It really, everything always comes down to the duality of everything and how you're going to perceive it and how you're going to rise to certain occasions and the boundaries that we put up. So May, we'll talk about Taurus, and this is the Justice card. And so this is interesting. So justices will be made. This is us getting our true just, maybe. Um, it is card number 11. And so to me, I think that reminds me of authenticity, integrity, um, equity, rightness, um, triumph, on the right side of the law, so to speak. Um, but this is also like an executive decision that might come down. We may be making that executive decision, and it's definitely the law. So I'm wondering, especially with Jupiter getting ready to move into Aries, like, is this going to be further lockdowns? Or is this going to be further mandates, further laws? You know, legal complications for us personally. This also sometimes will represent bigotry, bias, um, across the board, and excessive severity, like unjust. Remember, we got to look at everything from both sides. And so, I'm really wondering how that will be playing out, especially because we will be having eclipses also in May, and there'll be that shift in energy from Jupiter into Aries. This could be protests, people wanting justice, people looking for justice against injustice. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. June, Gemini. I love this. My favorite card in the tarot deck. It is the Star. And the Star always to me says, don't give up hope, holding on to hope. There is water here, which is emotion pouring out of the water. I'm wondering if there will be an excess of water, storms, and we do have to pay attention to that, earthquakes and floods this year because of the astrology. Um, this is often represented by the Aquarius card. So, we're going to think about what is in Aquarius. Saturn is in Aquarius. Saturn's going to be maybe making a last hurrah. There's also sometimes loss and or theft. So, be very careful. Abandonment is sometimes represented by this card, but I always love to hold on to hope and bright prospects of things working out beautifully. Sometimes this card represents arrogance and people that are too righteous, um, or self-important, judging people, which I really don't like. And this card is also represented by the planet Uranus. And Uranus is going to be making a lot of big surprises this year. Expect the unexpected still. And so that would be for June. Um, we're also coming into a pivotal time in June where things are going to be shifting. So we will just have to wait and see how that plays out. July, interesting. So July, like I said, that's shifting. So in July, the United States Pluto return will be making another exact aspect in July, and the Emperor is showing up. And this does talk about power. And where is that power? This is often, you see the ram's heads. So Aries is being represented here. I feel as though there's going to be some sort of a fight and protest. But it also could be us standing up for ourselves. And there's kind of like an unyielding power here. There's a sterility involved and things becoming whole again and of a new beginning. There will be stability and power, protection, realization. This could be someone falling from power and someone stepping in or being seen as a great savior in a sense. Aid will come to us. So we could see maybe a financial boost. We could maybe see some hope in the economy. It's like an authority figure comes in. Now, there is definitely some kind of benevolence and compassion. And there's a confusion here as to, you know, who's the bad guy? Who's the good guy? So we could be in that, cloudy fogginess. There's also the immaturity of something new that has started, but we don't see where it's going yet. All right, so August, so August would be Leo. Oh, I'm sorry. So this would be for Cancer. August is for Leo, and we have the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune spins round and round. What goes up must come down. What is down must come back up. And so, what this says to me, it really once again comes back to, excuse me, where is our mind? Where is our mind set? There's a destiny, fortune, success, elevation, luck. So I love that. And, that really could be coming into play when Mars moves into Gemini in August. In reverse, this card talks about still abundance and an increase in something. Um, but could it be a malefic increase? Um, there's all the elements are shown here, but I feel as though what I'm seeing here is there's writing. And so that's interesting. So if you look at this card, all of the different symbols, they all have a book in front of them. Mars moving into Gemini will be great for writing and getting your story out and telling your story. I will say that because, Gemini is that communicator and Mars is going to give us the energy to do that. And so we could really capitalize on some new beginnings for all of us, whether you're a writer or not, but some sort of creative talent. And think about it, that Gemini energy, even though this is Leo, it's putting yourself out there. and that duality nature. So I really do love this for August. September. Let's see. So September we have the High Priestess. And so to me immediately it's there's that feminine yin energy. Religion, spirituality are definitely symbolized. You see the moon down at her feet, the crescent moon. There's definitely, a sense of deception there by a woman. Where is that going to come from? Which country is that coming from? Um, that's interesting to me, because I feel as though we're going to hear something announced from a woman. This is what I'm getting. And it's not necessarily going to be true. And that's why we have to be really discerning with what we are feeding ourselves through the television and through social media. Um, just because we're so prone to believe what we read and what we see, really have to stay within our own autonomy. That's also another part of what the High Priestess is, standing in our own autonomy, our own integrity, and following our gut intuition on a lot of different things. Um, Secrets, mystery. The future is yet to be revealed. Um, Women's interests, the interest of women. So this definitely could play a part in, a little bit of what we heard last year. Um, Silence, people not speaking up when they know what the truth is. There's a tenacity here, an undying, like an ungiving tenacity, people fighting for their rights, women fighting for their rights. There's wisdom here. This is also represented by science. There's a passion. There are moral obligations here. And sometimes we're not getting the full story. I'm going to leave that at that. That is for Virgo. That's Virgo season. And she pretty much does represent that Virgo. The things that I just spoke about, think about the Virgo symbolism, the virgin, the epitome of the female is represented here. So I would think that we could be hearing about a lot of women's issues, like I said. And remember what I talked about with that South Node in Scorpio, the sexuality, sexual abuse, um, things of that nature, the secrecy, things possibly being revealed or soon thereafter. October or Libra season, we have the moon. And as soon as I see the moon, I automatically think about deception, things that we're not seeing clearly, things that are hidden below the surface. We have water here. It's a lobster, but could it be a Scorpio? The howling dogs or wolves represent to me loyalty, and it's between the two towers. So we're going to go back to that Gemini thing, the Gemini theme. I'm sorry. So it's like there's still a polarity, and there's definitely two houses of beliefs. That's what I feel. And not everybody is getting the truth. I mean, that's definitely what I feel from this card. This also represents hidden enemies, people that talk behind your back, people that are plotting behind your back. This could be also countries plotting on other countries. There's often danger, darkness, terror, deception, occult forces represented. And, I could go down a rabbit hole with that. It just feels as though there's instability here, there's inconsistency in the messages that we're getting. This also represents silence and sometimes a lesser degree of deception and errors that have been made between these two towers. And it's like something is discovered and not yet spoken about because, we may never find out the truth about things. So that's kind of what I'm picking up with that. Okay, so November or Scorpio season. Interesting. We've got the devil. Temptations are abundant. Um, November. So we will be having another eclipse during that season. It will be highlighted on that Scorpio South node for sure. I'm going to probably discuss STDs and being careful. Definitely protection during the whole entire South Node in Scorpio. Um, Cheating is what I'm picking up. The temptations, addictions, overindulgence, overdoses, gambling, spending money. So we could have a false sense of security that is actually, you know, people wanting to get back to normal. So they're just going freaking crazy. And I think that's why we're where we are right now in this pandemic, because everybody wants to get back to normal. And here we are again. Um, this is definitely feminine and masculine energy, the balancing of the chains that we are bound by. Who is in control of us? Who controls us? Are we in our own power? This is also boundaries. This is obligations. I feel people wanting to get rid of their obligations, um, people quitting their jobs because, of the ridiculousness of the way some companies are treating people and mandates that are coming about. Um, yeah, these are definite obligations, things that we are tied to. I think that we'll also hear about animals. Definitely something coming out about animals and livestock, possibly. Um, yeah, I think I'm just going to leave it at that. There could also, well, no, I'm going to come back because there could be violence during this time. Um, a vehement disgust between people, but we're already seeing that. Also, people making extraordinary efforts to make things better, sometimes through force, sometimes through fatality. Things that are predestined are going to show up in November sometime, and we may be finding out what is truly pure evil. Um, that stink bug. I don't know how it got in here. They get in because they're looking for warmth. There's also a lot of pettiness that will be discovered, but I feel like it'll be a turning point, a pivotal point. And then finally, so that was Scorpio, and then Sag. Yeah, because I started off with Capricorn. All right, so Sagittarius, December. It's the Empress. And I love this because it's definitely represented by Venus. We're coming back into the heart. We see that the Empress is sitting comfortably on her throne in her home. Things are good. She feels secure. And maybe that's what happens. Like December of next year, we are okay being in our homes if this is still going to continue. We are comfortable. We have everything that we need. We come to a place that we realize what we truly value, and we need a lot less than we thought we did. We've grown our own food during the spring and the summer, and so we have plenty to live off of. That was another one of those Taurus North Node themes. Um, we're, the Empress represents productivity, fertility, another new beginning. Ideas have been seeded and planted, and maybe they're finally growing. This is such a beautiful card in so many ways that it's like, I feel as though this year we are exhaling a little bit, but I feel like it's two steps forward, one step back, or even one step forward, two steps back. We're not out of the woods, but this is a different year. But I feel like by the time we get to December, we know where we're going, and that's what is represented here in this card, and I really do love that. There's a fruitfulness, there's action, we have the initiative to take. Our days are filled with things that we love, some things unknown, and sometimes there is difficulty, there's doubt and ignorance, but I feel as though we're going to still have those two schools of people of what our perception is. But the light, the truth, the unraveling of those matters that we've been worried about all year start to come out. This is definitely a public rejoicing. We can finally celebrate come December. I love this. And like I said, I didn't look at these cards beforehand. And so to see this really kind of makes me, very happy. Yes, we will maybe be having quite the year, and it will be ups and downs, but I do feel as though there is more rejoicing, there is more joy because we want it. And um, it's all in our perception. It is all about staying centered and grounded, paring things down to a more simpler lifestyle, a more deliberate lifestyle, slower, not rushing around, not as much urgency, doing the things that we love the most. That's what I think this year is. So I'm going to leave you with that. We do have Mercury will be going retrograde next week as I'm recording this, I believe on January 14th, 15th. And we will be coming into a full moon in Cancer very soon. So hopefully I'll be back with that information. But this should leave you for at least a little bit while I take care of my school, my studies, and me slowing down a little bit. Thank you, thank you, thank you all, and have a beautiful 2022. I will see you soon. Bye.